was just amazing. And at the end of the dinner, he walks us to the door, he gives us a hug, and he looks at us. And I know that this is the last time I'm ever going to see him. You know? And then I heard a couple of weeks later that, you know, he had passed. He had checked out early, you know. And his families were there, you know, and there was laughter and carrying on. His wife was there. And, you know, people like Harlan Ellison and Norman Corwin and others have shown me how to live. And Dre has shown me how to die. You know, if you have any control over it, that's the way to do it. It's in my opinion, anyway. And it's, there are no words for something. And that's probably one of them.
Thank you. We should all live by his example.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
First of all, I want to say, Joe, you suck. Alright? I never really liked sci-fi. Saw Babylon 5 and I was like, you gotta watch the show, you gotta watch the show. And I watched Suck Into It. And I'm a Marvel fan. I got Spider-Man, X-Men, and Wolverine. You should go
Taking care of that.
Well, now I'm about to be a DC fan, so I started buying Superman. It looks very weird. I got a room full of Marvel, so I got some Superman. Except what you did with Image, you know, I want to know, what was the first comic book you did? When you...
First comic? I was working at TV at the time, and the guy who was editor of DC said, "All right, the Star Trek comic." No, I'm wrong.
Twilight Zone?
Teen Titans.
Teen
Titans Spotlight. And it was put Teen Titans in a situation. It wouldn't be cool to put Cyborg in an issue with Two-Face, because they both have that division. And you show how one person went to the positive side, one person went to the dark side. And the person on the dark side thinks, you know, I never had a choice. I had to go this way because of my disfigurement. And he has to prove to himself that Cyborg is so different. That if he had the same problems that I had, he would do what I did because of this. And tries to prove that to himself. And at the end fails. So there's always a message behind what I do.
Yeah, I noticed that. I found Twilight Zone, right, in 1993 that you did.
Sorry?
You did a Twilight Zone comic book?
Yes.
In 1993?
Yes.
I see why you try to forget that.
The gray hair is camouflage. I can still kick their ass.
I came with that with a big friend.
I know a guy with a brother who threw a chair at his sister. You're a little jealous. I got $100 to spare, and he needs bail money.
I'm just like to say, glad to see you. Glad to see you a character in person too. You give character to everyone you write, and I like to see them all evolve and change just like real people do. Just glad to see you in person. The only seminar I'm going to sit through since I got ADHD and I can't hold still. But it's great to see you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Howdy.
Hey.
Hey.
I'm a writer, obviously.
Good.
Yeah, I'll do that hat.
I wonder what happened to that.
Right. Takes it out of me. And as a writer, I'm always curious as to why writers write what they write. If that makes any sense.
What do you write, by the way?
Yeah.
What do you write?
Anything, horror, crime, fiction, general stuff. But I'm always more interested about the themes behind it. So you have a lot of strong interest in fate and death and, you know, life, hope. What?
I'm Russian. I kind of go through the territory.
What about these things that you key into? What is it about these things that you sort of want to explore in your work?
For me, it's all that's worth writing about. To why I write, Stephen King once said, if you write for the money, you're a monkey. If you write for the fame, you're a monkey. If you write because you love writing, you're still a monkey. You write because to not write is suicide. And that is kind of where I fall in the equation. I started writing at 17 years of age, nonstop, 10 pages a day, and I've done that ever since, pretty much every day of my life since. And I get nuts when I'm not writing. And I come from hard roots. I mean, I come from a hard scrabble life. And when you're living, as I did once, in a house that didn't have a roof, you know, you're looking up at the stars in your bed, you know, it makes you wonder, what's going on? You know, what's the meaning of things? I lived in projects and worst imaginable kind of situations. And you have a lot of time on your hands. And you either get in trouble, which I did on occasion, nothing they ever prove. Never threw a chair. Or you start thinking about stuff. And I think that what a writer does is you put stuff up on the shelf that says, this is who I was, this is how the world looked to me when I was here. So when you're gone, we can pull it down and see what that was and put it back up on the shelf again. And you can either do that about trivial stuff, so I thought about the Dodgers, you know, or about pocket lynch. Not that I'm comparing them, I'm just saying. Or you can start trying to write about things that get caught in your filter, things like fate and life and destiny and who are you and where are you going and what matters in life. Those get caught in my filter. That's just me, you know. So I write about things that are interesting to me, and in the hope that others will find them interesting as well. Mark Twain said that if you are true as a writer and write from what's inside here, all of humanity, wherever you come from, share the same fears, hopes, anxieties. They want for a better life for themselves and for their kids. We all share the common coin of our humanity. And if you write truthfully, others will recognize that in themselves. I think that no matter how fantastical the situation, whether you're writing horror or crime or anything else, as long as there is truth in how the characters react to things, the audience will buy it. The moment they start acting falsely, no matter how real the environment, the audience won't buy it. Just stay true to your heart, the true north of your heart, and it'll always work out.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Joe.
Hey.
Okay, so in 2004, December, I started reading Amazing Spider-Man. That's when I first started reading comics. I want to say thank you for actually making Peter Parker an interesting character. And under the mask, I mean, because everyone loves Spider-Man, but Peter Parker's kind of a jerk. So I started reading Thor because of you. He's honestly my least favorite Marvel hero. So I felt that, you know, I can move on to DC, which is Spider-Man, because it's the same thing. What I want to know is, if you had to change anything about your career, would you? Like, instead of being a writer, or the stories that you've done, would you change anything about it, or you accept what you've done so far?
I think you have to accept what you've done. If I could go back in time, I would have started a little bit earlier. I would have moved to LA sooner than I did. I had a situation where I kind of had to stay home for reasons that I'll talk about at some future date, longer than I planned to. And I didn't get to LA until I was in my late 20s, early 30s. And had I been up here, then I could have done more. I wish I was a better writer. Every time I sit down at the keyboard, I wish I could do better. Whenever I get too cocky and full of myself, I go up, I have a shelf of Rod Serling scripts, originals. And I pull them down whenever I feel too much like I'm full of myself, and I read that, and I want to just quit the business completely. I was working at Twilight, so they were going to actually redo some old episodes. They said, Joe, why don't you go down to the library at CBS and pick out which ones you want to do. And I went in, and there were all these scripts that had Rod's handwritten notes on them, and his own personal revisions and changing words and stuff. And I said, I'll need 35 of those. And I had them all stacked up very carefully in my office. And so I wish I was better. You know, every day I sit down, which is why I try and make the next thing I write better than the last thing that I wrote. So I wish I was better, that's all. Thank you. When is this done, by the way? Just hour and a half, or is this done? Hour, okay. We'll make it fast, snappy.
All right.
Sorry for the long answers. Yeah.
Two things. I did have the pleasure of meeting Andreas before he passed at a convention, and the audience got him to talk about joke script that he did in Retribution.
I'm not hearing somebody.
I'm sorry. I had the pleasure to meet Andreas before he passed at a convention.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the audience members got him to talk about the joke script that you did in Retribution for one of the pranks they pulled on you. He was laughing constantly when I brought it up. You had mentioned it in one of the script books, so I thought I would share that. Could you briefly summarize what you would have done with Crusade had it continued?